Mrs. Neena Khare, advocate, mediator, and trainer. To begin with, today's evening, I would like to share a famous quote. Necessity is the mother of invention. Just like this famous quote, Pushpa ma'am, who is advocate, mediator, and trainer, no need any introduction now, and Mr. Thanakanchan sir have initiated this thoughtful endeavor as organizers for the benefit of students pan India in these hard times of the global pandemic. When in these hard times, people are not able to even think of themselves. These selfless persons have taken the responsibility to take mediation education forward in India through this educative online series. I would like to acquaint you all with the prominence of our teacher speaker of the today, Mr. Sachin Jain. Although we have our mentors and gurus, Jawad sir and Uma ma'am is with us, and our colleagues are also with us. I just want to introduce you, little gems. I would like to say that he did his law from Punjab University back in 1999 and has been an eminent civil and criminal lawyer ever since. In the nascent phase of his career, he joined Dr. Balram Gupta to advocate former chairman, Department of Law, Punjab University, former director, NJ Bhopal. He presently is director, Academy, Judicial Academy, Punjab and Chandigarh. He, Mr. Sachin has completed his 40-year trainings in mediation in 2012 and has been a trainer since 2016 and is probably youngest trainer in India as far as I know. He is one of the most passionate mediator you will come across who has left 70% of his law practice for this pious mission. Surprisingly, Mr. Sachin has deep interest in astrology and is always willing to extend a helping hand to one and all. And I certify this from my experience. With this, I welcome Mr. Sachin and thank him for adorning this session with his presence. Mr. Sachin will speak to you today on the topic of communication. And I'll just say a line about communication. Wise men speak because they have something to say, and fools speak because they have to speak something. So this is the difference. And communication is all about to hear what is not being said. With these words, I invite you, Mr. Sachin. Now the floor is all yours. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Nina ma'am. Thank you everyone on screen and those who are on the side of another screen because this screen accommodates a very few people. Uh, Thank you so much, ma'am, for introducing me to the lovely gathering here. In fact, my gathering, I am not taking names of any of those whom I know before, post Madam Thankran, because I know them very well. So my audience is my dear friends, students, those who are pursuing law in different law colleges across the country. See, we are talking about communication. So it will be an incomplete communication if I don't see my friend's screen. So I request all my friends to be on screen. I want to see them live. No pictures, no, I want to see all of them live. So then we can have an interactive session. Thank you, Vishesh. Thank you, Asha Purna. Thank you, Rohit. George, thank you so much. Michael, you are missing. Himanshu. Hello, Himanshu. Mr. Chatterjee, you are missing. Ah, that's great. That's lovely. So, this topic is such that we have to communicate. And if we can't communicate, we can't connect with each other, there is no point taking this class. I am here to share with you a very, very important topic, which, mediation core subject is communication, right? Now, before I go into communication, let me have a brief recap of what we have done. Thankchan, sir? Mr.
Yes,
Thankchan?
yes, yes. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
to share a.
Yes, one second, one second, one second.
So before we get into
Yes,
communication,
you can share, you can share, you can share.
okay. So before we get into communication, let us first take a few minutes recap on the last previous three classes, which is conflict, and then is mediation. Then we come down to the process of mediation. So friends, I'm sharing my screen. Who's this? Sir, please allow me. It
Yes,
says
everything is.
disable participants screen sharing.
One second, let me check. Let me check. I think I have allowed you. You please try again.
Okay. No, it still says host disabled participant screening share.
One second, one second. Then now you please try.
Okay, now I'll try. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So friends, the first topic which we had was conflict, taken by Jawad sir. See, conflict is natural. It is natural that we have a conflict. In a normal day life, we see conflict everywhere. Be it your home, be it an college or market, wherever you go, you find people, there is a conflict. So, why there is a conflict? See, conflict is basically because of differences. It can be a cultural difference, it can be a personality difference, it can be difference of opinion. So we see all kind of, when there is a perceived threat to somebody, there, the conflict starts. There's an emanation of conflict. So I'm just briefly taking, this is a conflict core. You can see on the slide, there's a conflict core where you see in the center is a human dignity. So whenever there is a perceived threat to any of these things, conflict emerges. And when this emerges, when it spirals out, we have different responses. We have community response, we have personal responses, we have legal advice. So it becomes, it moves out. And once it moves out, it escalates. And it starts affecting individuals, relationships, and organizations. So we move forward. Then we have this conflict triangle. See, if we in a conflict, we have people, we have process, we have a problem. But what we do in mediation? In mediation, we support the people, we solve the problem, and we control the process. Now, if I take an example of a conflict triangle here, a very brief. Now, you all people know that there is a farmer agitation going on. So with the 3x which have come into, they have somehow disturbed the farmers. So they are the people here. So the problem is the act, and the process is with the government. Now, how they have to deal with it, right? So this is basically conflict. Everything germinates from our conflict. And for a conflict, one must have to communicate. If somebody doesn't communicate, you keep standing at different places, keeping your face down, mom, nothing will happen, right? Now further is conflicting styles. There are 5 kinds of style: avoidance, when you avoid things; accommodate, when you accommodate things; compromise, when you leave something, everybody leaves something; competition, and collaboration. So these are the conflicting styles. Now let us move forward to what is mediation. See, mediation, we all know it's a concept which no other concept can match. It can give you something which nobody can give you. So benefits, or we can say the salient features of mediation is voluntary, mediation is flexible, it is party centered, where the parties have right to decide about themselves. There is no pressure. Another fundamental is confidentiality. Nothing moves out from the room where you have a mediation. It is between the parties and the mediator, and the parties in one party to the rest of the world, or with the other party against the rest of the world. Neutrality is the third person, it's a mediator who assists and facilitates better and effective communication. It's an informal process, it's inexpensive, effective, speedy, convenient. And the best part is of mediation is that everybody wins. Nobody loses out from a mediation. If they really think that they have done something good for them, that's a win-win situation. Settlements are final and there is no appeal permitted under law. Since why that we will deal ahead when we do settlements. Now we come down to the process of mediation. See, the process is introduction. Now convening a mediation or introduction is opening statement when we give. Then we come down to understanding the problem, and then is deeper understanding of interest and needs of party. I'll take a pause here. See, on the last class, we have heard about joint session and single session. As Jawad Bhai has rightly said, these are the tools which we use to understand the problem. And in single session, we have a deeper understanding of interest and needs of the parties. So we joint session and separate session are the tools to gather these informations. Then we move forward in defining the problem. Then we create options. Then we evaluate options. And ultimately, if parties have inclined to settle the matter, there is a settlement. Otherwise, there is no settlement. So coming back to so this is just a brief recap of what we have done in last 3 classes. I hope you all people, or you all my friends, must have understand the concept of conflict, the nature of conflict, what is mediation, what is the definition of mediation, and the process of mediation. Now, moving forward to today's class is communication. You all know that without communication, we can't do anything. Can we do anything? Michael, if you don't communicate with your father, how will he come to know that you have something to say, you have a thought, you have something you want something from him? Can you?
No, sir, I can't.
Yes.
And
So communication is, yeah, thank you so much. So communication is very important. It's the essence of life. Now, what is the objective of communication? See, we all individuals, we are different. We are different because we behave differently, we act differently, and we communicate differently. Now, one gets social acceptability and social popularity, the way he behaves, the way one behaves. Now, let me take an example. I'm a person with abusive language. Whenever I meet somebody, I start abusing anyone. You, this and that, all kind of, bullshit I speak. So my reputation, my popularity is of a bad man, that this man is of bad words. And he has been, whenever you get in touch with him, he will abuse you for no reason. So my acceptance is as a bad man. Now, in the same way, if I'm a respectful, if I talk with respect, hello, Asha ji, Asha Purna ji, how are you? She gives a big smile. So that means I am a good person. My acceptability is as a humble human being and a respectful person. Now, what is communication? Communication is basically putting across your message. So if I ask Asha Purna, what are we doing now? Asha?
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
So what are we doing now? If I say my communication is generally considered as message sent across.
Mm-hmm. We're having a class right now.
So it's a class. So what is the message here? So the message is I'm a sender.
Mm-hmm.
My message is I'm taking a class.
Mm-hmm.
I have to transmit information to my all friends.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm exchanging my knowledge.
Yes.
So we
Absolutely.
we are completing communication. So communication is basically message sent across. It is a transmission of information for one or many. So we, all those who are on screen, all those who are attending this class, this message, this communication is for all of them. And what we exchange? See, we exchange emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, our ideas, desired knowledge, etc. So all these things comes under the category of communication. So, why do we communicate? Now, the next question is, why do we communicate? Why do we communicate? We communicate because we have to express our feelings to make other party understand what we want to say, to gain some benefit, to derive some benefit out of it. So communication is usually initiated by a thought, feeling, idea, or emotion. Now I'll share my PPT on the screen. Just a minute. Give me just give me half a minute. I'm not a very tech savvy person, so for me it's a very difficult proposition. What is this? So, communication. So what is communication? We have discussed. Now, what means any communication involves a sender. Sender is in whose mind there is a thought. Sender is who sends a message. Sender is a person who sends a message. Message is my thought, my feeling, my idea, my emotion, my knowledge. Then it goes to the receiver. So today's class, I am the sender of information, of knowledge to my receivers. My receivers are my friends, young friends, students who are receiving the message. So the channel is spoken words. And unspoken words are PPTs. So gestures, my expressions. And when I put you, and when you say, yes, sir, we understand it, is the feedback we get. So in any communication, these all things are involved. So if anything is missing, if any of these things is missing, it becomes an ineffective communication. Now, there are a few secrets of communication I must share with you people. See, when you communicate verbally, it is only when you feel like communicating verbally when you have something in mind, when you really want to communicate verbally. Otherwise, half of the time, or you can say 75% of the time, we communicate, this is a non-verbal communication. And when we communicate verbally, it is not for one person. It may reach out to many persons. Now, let me take an example on this. See, EMW, Madam Push hosted a party. And I'm very uncomfortable, Mr. Thankachan. So I'm very uncomfortable, Mr. Thankachan. So the moment, so I'm already there in the party, the moment Mr. Thankachan came inside the party room, so my expression was like this. So what do I do? I expressed my hatredness. I expressed my hatredness by making a frown face. So that's not only for Mr. Thankchan. All those people who are there in the party, they have come to know that Mr. Jain doesn't like Mr. Thankchan at all. So this is a non-verbal communication where my face, my expression speaks volume about what I have done. Right? Now coming back to communication again. Now there are, so how is communication effective? So how to have an effective communication? So there are 7 C's of effective communication. So any communication which we do, now let me first take it into context of mediation. See, communication is core of mediation. Effective communication between the participants, the parties, and the mediator is necessary for a successful mediation. And communication is not just talking and listening. It is something more than that. So when all can we have an effective communication? These are the 7 C's, and I'll keep on explaining them with example so that you people can have a very clear understanding. So any communication done, it has to be clear. You must have a clarity of thoughts, you must have a clarity of expression, message should be clear, and it should be easily understandable. Now, if I say I am outside Amitabh Bachchan's house and I ask the guard, I want to meet Mr. Bachchan. Is this a clear information? No, because he doesn't know which Bachchan I want to meet. It can be Amitabh Bachchan, it can be Abhishek Bachchan, or the beautiful lady at the house, Aishwarya Bachchan. So there has to be a very clear, the communication has to be extremely clear. Now let them come down to correct communication. Now if Asha Purna is from Kerala, if I am not wrong. So if I start talking to Asha Purna in Punjabi, will it make sense? Well, it doesn't make any sense because Asha Purna will not be able to understand my language at all. So even if I use simple words or difficult words, it is absolutely of no use. So effective communication is when you pass on correct things, when you have correct things in it, complete information. It has to be complete. So the message sent across must contain all informations, facts, and figures. Anything which conveys 2 meanings is absolutely vague. It is not a complete message. Now, coming down to the 4th part is concrete. Effective communication has to be concrete, which means that there is no room of misinterpretation. There's no hidden facts. It should be clear and general. Communication should be concise. Effective communication should be concise. It should be short, brief, logical, to the point, and it should convey the subject matter. Now, what we are doing here is I'm taking into effect all requirements of an effective communication. So I'm clear in my mind that I am taking a class of communication with my dear friends. The message is very clear to them. I am using simple language. So that means it's a correct part of it. Complete. I'm using all those informations about communication, the topic, the facts, figures, all topics I'll cover. Concrete. I'm leaving no room for misinterpretation. If I don't use word communication, and I will start using conflict, if I'll start using, so there is no such space in it. It's a concrete class. Whatever I'm doing is, it is concerning class, which is by way of communication, effective communication. Courteous. Whenever we do a communication, whenever we pass on, whenever we talk to somebody, we have to be very respectful. We should respect the feeling of others. Their viewpoints are, see, people are, everyone is different. Everyone has his own viewpoint. One must respect others' viewpoint also. If you pressurize somebody, if you say no, I am only correct, then it's of no use. Then you are not respecting. I am saying something to someone, he has a different viewpoint. If he starts saying no, you just listen to me also. If I don't listen, that means I'm not courteous. Active listening, proper eye contact, and you have to be humble. 7C is consideration. It implies stepping into the shoe of others, because other viewpoints also have some importance. They also have an education level. It doesn't mean if I'm a lawyer, I'm a mediator, that doesn't mean that my audience, my friends, they're not educated. See, you people all are educated. You are taking education, you are moving forward in life. So we have to consider, if I start saying, here, Michael, you are a illiterate chap. That's wrong. That'll be wrong on my part. You are also educated. So these are the effective skills of 7 communication, 7 C's of effective communication. Now moving forward to, there are types of communication. Now from the picture, I think everybody is smart and intelligent enough to understand these two pictures, right? I think everybody has seen these pictures. This last picture which we have on the screen. So, Khushi, just put on your mic.
Oh,
Thank
good
you so
evening,
much.
sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Khushi. Khushi,
Sir.
that PPT has 2 pictures.
Yes, sir.
So there are two beautiful females. What are they doing? What kind of conversation? What kind of communication is that?
Sir, I think it was like verbal fight sort of something, according to my
Absolutely.
interpretation.
So your first word is the correct answer. It's a verbal communication.
Yeah.
Right. When we come now, what we are doing is it's a verbal communication. Right. So now, Rohan, the part 2 of the picture is,
I can't see the image actually.
okay. I'll show it. I'll share it again. So Rohan,
Yes. Give me one second. Yes. So the second part of the image is a table or an illustration of the gestures that people use while communicating.
absolutely. So we call it a non-verbal communication, right? So there are 2 kinds of communication. One is verbal and one is non-verbal. So verbal communication. So verbal communication is transformation of information or message through spoken words. It involves listening and speaking. See, for last about 30 minutes, what we are doing is that's a verbal communication. That's part of a verbal communication. And there is one thing which I've done is when I've shown my front face, when when Mr. Thangchan came into that party room, that was a non-verbal communication. So this is the difference. So in verbal communication, we speak, we talk, be it with one, be it with many. And non-verbal is the transformation of message or signals to a non-verbal platform. It can be eye contact. Now, I'll do it. See, So when we say that we are on a non-verbal platform, no, in non-verbal, so this is what I'm doing. This is a non-verbal part. So this is gestures. So what we do in non-verbal, we communicate through our body. It's a body language. We don't use words. We use our tone. Okay. So this is okay. Now which okay. If I say so it's a body language. It's a sign. It's a signal. Right? It's an eye contact. If I start winking my eyes, you'll understand. It's a non-verbal communication. Right? So I'll again go back to screen and show you. So it's the body movement and postures, it's eye contact, it's a facial expression, it's a gestures. So non-verbal is basically when two people from a distance place communicate without speaking, there's no verbal communication. They can have eye contact, they have a facial expression. Now see this picture. Now, what does this picture shows? See the picture. Now, what this picture shows? Rohitji?
Yeah,
Mr.
hello,
Khare?
sir. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah,
Good evening. Good evening. Mr. Khare, what do you find in that
I
picture?
think it is an expression of anger, sir. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's an expression of anger with an eye contact.
And a gesture.
Wide open eyes, you know. She's trying to dominate. She's trying to show that she's very angry. And there's a finger also.
Yeah,
See this
a
finger?
gesture.
This is a gesture. So normally, since Nina madam said that I'm an astrologer also. So see this finger. Normally, who does this finger? Who's guru? The Thursday, the people who wear pukhraj here, they use this finger because they are very authoritative. Right?
Right.
So coming back to the class, we have to make a class a little more interactive, and we keep on talking here and there also, so that everybody should be present actually physically and mentally in the class. So this is non-verbal. Now coming down to next slide. Now let me, before I go to that, let me share with you that how communication is important in mediation. See, in mediation, I'll stop this, then I will come back again. See, in mediation, when we sit with the parties, when parties come, two parties come, and there's a mediator. So a mediator, see, the role of a mediator is both of a sender and receiver. Now explain how. See, in the introduction, the first thing is we communicate verbally, means our parties come, I introduce myself, parties introduce us. And then what we do is, when we move on for gathering information, there I'm a receiver. I'm a receiver of information. I receive information from them. And when we summarize it, people take good hell of a time to explain their emotions, explain their anger, their pain and suffering which they have suffered. So see, nobody likes to come to court. Nobody likes to come to court. It is only when their rights have been affected, they come to the court. They have a pain. So people take time to vent out their emotions, vent out their pain. And when they went out, you gather that information. So you are the receiver at that point of time. And when you summarize them, when you say, okay, this is what you have said, I can understand what you have said, that is that you are a sender of comment. So in mediation, communication plays a very vital role. So if you keep, you in a room, you calm down and you sit like this, nobody speaks, what will happen? Nothing will happen. You have to speak up. You have to speak out. So coming down to, see, for an effective communication, you have to have good communication skills. You have to have good communication skills. And to add more, I'll say that in mediation, parties communicate with an intent to assert and argue on his point of view. Means they want to convince you, the mediator and the opposite party, that they are right and the other side is wrong. In the same way, the other side also do the same thing. They also try to convince the mediator that no, we are right. So it is perception, it is party's own way of thinking. See, everyone is attached to their own problem. In mediation, what we as a mediator do is we detag them with their problems. Once we detag to the problems, they start moving towards the resolution side. And mediator communicates not to convince them, but neither to convince them, but to explain. Neither he argues, but he understands. And he effectively facilitate effective communication skills to find a workable solution. It is very important for a mediator to be very attentive if a person is ineffective in communication or is a poor communicator. At times we have done lots and lots of mediation, and we see at times people can't communicate. I'll share you with one example. It was a matrimonial discord, and both husband and wife were sitting before me. So the wife was very reluctant in speaking something. So, I kept watching. I mean, she was not coming out of any facts. So then I put her a question, ma'am, is there any difficulty in sharing information? So she said, sir, I want to share it with the female mediator. If she wants a lady mediator, why not? So I requested one of my close friends who's also a lady mediator to come and sit with her. So she was ineffective. It is only I could gather that she's hiding something. She has some. So coming forward to see for an effective communication, you have communication skills. Let me put on the slides so that you people can have okay, from here I can do that. So communication skills in mediation. We'll talk about these four skills which we use in mediation. 4 communication skills which we use in mediation. First is active listening. So let me stop and let me have an interaction with you guys. Let me go forward, and there are other also. Sorry, friends, I have not scrolled my screen. Now I can see other people also. There are many who have not. It is my request to all my friends to please be online. I want to see their faces. Let it be a effective communication. Okay. Tejaswini, there's a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You see the way you express, your face. I was a little because it was out of shocker, right? It was a shocker that how come. So this is, this is your attentiveness. Okay, Tejaswini, what have you to say about active listening? In
So,
your terminology, how do you express how do you define active listening? Your simple words. There is no pressure in you. Whatever you'll answer is a correct answer. I know that. Okay.
सर एक्टिव लिसनिंग मेरे ख्याल से वो स्किल है कम्युनिकेशन मतलब मीडिएशन में जिसमें हम अपनी बात क्लियरली बता सकते हैं इजीली अंडरस्टैंडेबल होनी चाहिए कि क्या कहना चाहते हैं और वो
बिल्कुल ठीक।
एक्टिवली प्रेजेंट होना चाहिए उस सिनेरियो में जो वो सिचुएशन बताना चाहता है और कंफर्टेबल फील करवाना चाहता है
बिल्कुल ठीक है. So what the Tejaswini now see the content of the Tejaswini has correctly said in her own language. So Tejaswini had shared her views in Hindi and a mix of Punjabi also. So Tejaswini says that people have various degree of optimism, approach, distress, anger, confusion, etc. So if the parties are in mediation, they are listened properly and understood, it helps building trust in mediation. Now, I, as an active listener, see the most fundamental principle of a good mediator who can really, people start liking him is when he becomes an active listener. See, it is not that every time one has to speak. When you listen people carefully, when you listen people with a lot of understanding, people start building trust in you. Now, let me go back to opening statement. Opening statement, it's a process when we start mediation. So opening statement is you explain the entire process to a party. Then you frame ground rules also. So this is a stage where you build trust in parties. Now, if you tell a party that you have the right to decide yourself, there is no pressure, there is no force, whatever you will discuss here will remain here, will not be told to the court. So there is a degree of trust which parties, bestow upon you. Once that trust is there, see half of the battle in doing that mediation is done. Now, active listening is, now I'll put the screen on, share the screen. So we'll first deal with active listening. So active listening. In active listening, the entire attention of a mediator is towards spoken words, body language, and the context of communication. Right? In active listening, listen to what is said and what is not said. See, people, they start saying something, but the real meaning is something. So you have to grasp that. You only do this only when you listen properly, when you listen with a degree of attentiveness. If you are attentive, if you have focus on them, if you are concentrating on what the speaker is saying, yes, you will get to know everything. An active listener never interrupts the speaker. Without interruption and exterior disturbances. No, if in a meditation center we are doing meditation, we are in the process of listening. Suddenly somebody comes and says, "Sir, want a cup of tea? Sir, coffee, this and that." And so these are exterior disturbances which spoils the environment. That's the noise. And there is one instrument these days. Let me come down to screen. And there is one instrument which is very important, but which vitiate everything. Now, who will answer that? George.
So one instrument that, could you just come again?
One instrument which is part of our life, but which spoils things anytime and every time.
One instrument that's a part of our life but spoils anything and everything.
It can spoil communication.
Shouting.
Cell phone, sir.
Ah,
Yeah.
great. Who said it?
Sir, me, Ronak.
Hi, Ronak. यार अपनी चेहरा तो दिखा दो यार रौनक.
Sir, actually, I cannot. I'm not used to with Zoom how it works, so I'm trying my bit, sir.
Okay. But I'm happy to have heard your voice. Yeah, it's a good, sweet voice, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
So, in a mediation, if somebody's during the midst of gathering information, if somebody's phone start ringing, or even if you ask them to put it on a vibrate mode, that vibration sound is more than the ringtone. And you're distracted. So these distractions should not be there in active listening. Control your inner voice and judgments. Don't go by what your voice says, what your inner feeling says, or don't start judging people. It will not help. Means once you have a preconceived mind or you have your own thoughts about particular thing. Hello. Control, then is try to understand speaker's intended message without finding any mistake, misstatement, etc. So active listening is very, very important. Now let us come down to, there are 2-3 things. I'll share the next PPT. So there are 7 key active listening skills. First is you have to be very attentive. See the eye, it catches the entire attention. Then we see asking open-ended question. We'll just, after we, in the next few minutes, we'll come down to this also. Open-ended questions, then ask probing questions, then request clarifications. Then we have to paraphrase, be attuned to and reflect feelings, and summarize. Now I'll come down to what is summarizing. See, summarizing is basically a technique when you recap several points made by a speaker. The idea, the objective of summarizing is that you have heard the speaker attentively, you have gathered all the information in your mind, and when you summarize it, it builds trust in the party. The other person, the speaker, starts to trust you that yes, I have taken 1 hour and I've explained my entire problem to him, and he has quickly summarized it in few words, in few minutes. And then he says, oh, in his mind, it's first he think in his mind, oh yeah, what a great person he is. And effectively, when he goes back on that day of when the meditation is off, he will definitely share it with you that, sir, you are the first person who have listened to me without interrupting me, without finding faults in me, And that is something which I was waiting for, that at least somebody should listen to me, right? So summarizing, do that job. So objective is that it shows the speaker that the listener has accurately and completely heard the points the speaker has made. When speaker has addressed several points, speaker is disorganized, speaker repeats the same point. I've told you earlier also, people have varied degrees of pains, sufferings. They have their own emotions. See, they are into litigation for such a long time, and so whenever they start speaking, they keep on saying same thing time and again. You tell them that you have to start like this, when you got married, how things have moved forward. So they start off with year wise, like from 2007, so 2010 this happened, 2013 this happened, and suddenly they again go back. They come down to 2018. They again go back to 2007. So what they're disorganized. They're disorganized only because there is a pain. So they want to get out of that pain. So summarizing, the elements of summarizing is that you have to be very accurate, you have to be complete, and you have to word them neutrally. See, they may use dirty language, they may abuse somebody, they may have taunting language. To summarize, you have to be pretty sure that you use those words which doesn't affect the other side. And the speaker, he should understand that yes, he has understand me correctly. So summarizing, after gathering information, summarizing is very, very, very important in mediation. It is very important because that's the time when the speaker, the parties, depose faith in you that yes, you are a person who can really help them in resolving the dispute. The next is reframing. So reframing is basically a technique which shifts the focus from their positions to interest. So reframing, it converts the negative statements to positive statements. Reframing converts, take them from past to future, from their positions to interest, redirect their attention to the speaker, and it reduces intensity of emotion. So I'll give you an example. In an office, my wife come back to home and she says to me, okay, my boss is very cruel and indifferent. It is impossible to talk to him. I'll start again slowly, and then you just try to gather something. So my wife says to me, she came back late in the evening and she says my boss is very cruel and indifferent. It is impossible to talk to him. I should be able to meet him or her at least once in a day. He doesn't have any time for me and always ignore me. So this is her position and her demand. Position is that he is cruel, he doesn't have time. And what is the demand? That his boss should meet her once in a day. So I reframe it like this, that you want a regular access and communication with the boss, and you want your boss to be considerate. Is that right? So what I've done is I've changed the entire picture. I've taken her negative to positive, her position to interest. What is her position? Her position is that he's a cruel man, or her. And what is her interest? That she wants to meet him or her at least once in a day. Right? So reframing is very important. So there are other things also. We have redirecting, then we have acknowledgement also. We have, there are a lot of active listening skills, but I'm sharing with you only few of them, but which is probably during the course, in your course, you will be going through it. And I must say, after going through this EMW classroom, you people will be far ahead of all those people who have not got these lectures. Not lectures, I say classrooms. Because you get to know what is mediation. And I'm pretty sure, because you see that classes which have been taken by Jawad sir, he is one of the topmost trainers in the country. Probably he won't come down to any analyst to teach anyone, but he has shared his experience, he shared his knowledge here. Same way Sir Sri Kumar sir. He's a brilliant mediator, trainer, a coach, a guide. He has written books also. There's a Bangalore Mediation Center booklet is by him only. Then we have Srilal Warrior sir. Don't include me into it because I'm just a student of theirs. So I'm not that Adua. Then in following weeks, you'll be getting other top people. You are lucky to have this class. You're lucky to have this class because you get to get knowledge from top people. Leave me aside. Don't take me into it. This class is a separate class, but they are the top end people, right? So now coming back to the topic, reframing. Now, the next part of an active listening skill is body language. So there's a Dr. Albert Mehran's formula. He says the communication is 7% is in spoken words, 38% by voice or tone, and 55% is body language. Now, what is body language? See, body language indicates to the speaker that the listener is attentive. Listener is interested. Listener gives importance to speaker, and it contributes 93% of meaning. Now, if I'm taking a class, right? Asha Purna is sitting like this. What is the body language? Vishesh, could you tell the body language of Asha Purna? If Asha Purna is like this, is she really attentive? What body language she has and what it communicates to us?
It communicates that.
That I'm not interested.
Yes, you're right. You're not interested. Yes, Vishesh, carry on, please.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Vishesh.
It's okay.
It shows lack of intention.
Yes, it shows lack of attentiveness. Absolutely. So your body language speaks volume about communication. It speaks volume. Now, in mediation, let me talk about mediation. See, we have a posture, we have a defined posture when we do mediation. It is varied degrees of, if I sit like this, a party is, okay, that's not a good posture. That's not a good body language, because, people they will have a sense that you are not attentive. So there is a defined body language. Now, I'll share with you my experience, because see, the moment I enter the court, the first place I go is my mediation center. So for me, it's my temple. And I have noticed few things. I'll share it with you. See, that's the psychology of a people, that you read people, how you read people. The moment I enter my center, there's an L-shaped sofa. It's like this. It's an L-shaped sofa. So I start, seeing people, their body language, how they sit. So after spending about 6-8 months into this, what I found is, what I have gathered, the person who comes and who sits in a corner. See, there are all sofas are empty. One can go and sit in the middle of the sofa also, and who will sit like this. That person has a closed mind. He will never open up. So his entire communication, his body language moves in this part of the body. And then I keep a check. Then I see in who is the mediator in that case, how he has behaved. So that, that gives you an opportunity to understand people. Their body language speaks volume. If somebody goes and sits right in the middle of a sofa and he sits, normal, relaxed, absolutely relaxed. So he has a bent of mind that he has to resolve. He's open towards things, right? So body language speaks a lot. Now I'll share it with you on a screen. Solar. See, so there is a set body language. S is face party with square shoulders. You have to be sitting straight, show full concentration on the speaker. I hope you all people are seeing me on the screen, on a short screen. Friends, speak.
Yes, sir.
Right? So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Square shoulder is you're sitting like this. Open posture is you sit like this, an open posture. It's not like this. You're sleeping. It's not like. You have to be square shoulders. It's an open posture. When you say it's an open posture, show that you are open to hear. You want to listen. You want to gather information. Lean gently towards them. Don't go back. You have to be straight and just slightly lean forward. That shows signs of involvement towards the party. That it shows that you are involved. You want to help them. Eye contact, that's the most effective part of it. Eye contact. That shows your attention. Now, eye contact is there has to be a degree of respect in that eye contact. Now I'll share. Eye contact is like you have some respect. Now, if a smart, beautiful girl comes and lady sit in front of me, yes, madam, tell me. You keep looking at her eye. Khushi is very, very, man, Khushi is like this only. But yes. You okay, yes, ma'am. So what is this? So this eye contact if that eye contact gives a degree of discomfort to someone, that's not a proper eye contact. Eye contact is that somebody is comfortable looking at you, you too, and you are gathering information. So eye contact is a very important tool. One must use it with degree of respect, right? Then is relax. You have to be relaxed. You have to be relaxed. See, if you are doing meditation, there are 100 things running in your mind. Then your clerks come in. Sir, wo case aa gaya. Your case has come. So you're not relaxed. You have varied degrees of things in your mind. You have all kinds of work to do. You have to go here. You have to go here. And see, at times what happens is, during the midst of meditation, the lunch time comes. You start looking at watch time and again, you start looking at watch time. So this gives a sense that you are in a hurry. You are in a hurry. So that people are uncomfortable with. So whenever you sit with the party, you make sure that your body language speaks volume about your character, speaks volume that you are a person who is there to help them, understand them, understand their pains and sufferings, understanding their interest, their positions, everything. So body language speaks a volume about it. Whenever your body is turned away from the speaker, that's a negative posture. One should avoid doing that. One should never do that. Signals can head and gesture the hand. That's fine. Okay, now we'll move forward to the next slide. That is empathy. Can anybody explain me the meaning of empathy? So there are two things. One is empathy and one is sympathy, right? In mediation, there is no place for sympathy, because the moment you sympathize with one party, you lose the very basic fundamental principle of mediation, that is neutrality. Once you start sympathizing with somebody, you lose that character. So the empathy is basically, see, in mediation, feeling and showing empathy is a good mediation tract. Empathy, however, doesn't mean agreement. So I understand what you are saying. I understand what you are saying. And I agree with what you say. See, there is a world of difference in this expression. So when I say, I understand what you say, that is empathy. And when I say, I agree with what you say, is sympathy. So we have to be empathetic, but not sympathetic. Empathy is basically stepping into the shoe of other and feel how he is feeling. Right? Now then comes questions. Questions. Questions, there are a few kinds of questions which we normally ask in mediation. Open-ended questions. So the open-ended questions are questions which are asked to gather more information, to clarify the positions. They are basically broad and general in scope. Now, in joint session, what we do is we ask them, okay, can you tell me about your case? Can you tell me about your dispute? So when we say this, we have put them a question where we want to gather a lot of information. They'll say something, then we'll say, okay, what happened next? Phir kya hua? Iske aage kya hua? So that's an open question. You want to gather information which you want to know so that you can help them move forward. There are closed questions. Closed questions, these are questions which are very specific. They have a limited scope. They are direct. You want an answer yes or no. Useful for checking in. Now, if I ask George, unmute yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. I've done that.
Which color of shirt you are wearing that day? This is
Which day, sir?
Valentine Day.
Okay, so this is basically, I mean, if you look at it, this is an open-ended question, sir.
Close-ended. So my question is very specific. George,
okay, yeah,
on a Valentine's Day, which color of shirt you were wearing
blue
when
shirt.
you were with Aishwarya Rai?
sir, I was wearing blue shirt. So
Oh, great. So the question which I put was, I want to have a very specific query that which color of shirt you were wearing that day. Then we have hypothetical questions. See, hypothetical questions are asked to allow parties to explore ideas and options. Now, let me put it, give you an example. There's a property dispute between brothers. And to one of the brother, I put a question, what if the disputed property is acquired by the government? What will happen? Now, see, it's a hypothetical question. It's a hypothetical question. You never know what will happen in future. So when you put parties hypothetical questions, those questions, it allows parties to explore ideas. Oh yes, what will happen? ये तो हमने कभी सोचा नहीं. We have never thought about it. So these questions generally help parties to move forward. Then there are probing questions also. Then there are, we can say there are few questions. So questions are generally asked to gather information. There are few sets of questions. We are dealing with just few which you will be covering up in your syllabus. These are very few questions, right? Now, so active listening, communication skills and mediation. So these are the skills in active listening. They're active listening, how you have to listen. In active listening, we have paraphrasing, summarizing, reflecting. Then we have a body language. In body language, what should be our body language? Albert's theory is 7-38-55. 7% is spoken words, 38% is tone, demeanor, 55% is body language. What kind of body language we should have? We should have solar body language, square shoulders, open posture, lean forward, eye contact, and relax. Then we have empathy, that we have to be show empathy, not sympathy. Then questions, what kind of questions we have to put to the parties? The questions can be open-ended questions. Questions can be close-ended questions, hypothetical questions, probing questions, right? So these are the skills we use in mediation. These are the communication skills we use in mediation. Now, what are the barriers in communication? See, barriers in communication, or we can say ineffective communication, it means the same. So barrier. So we have emotional barriers. First is emotional barriers. Different nature, fear, ego, ignorance, suspicion, guilt. So these are barriers in communications. Then we have physical barriers. Now, physical barrier is when you sit in a room and there's not, you sit in a mediation room and the atmosphere is not good. The fan is making noise. There is a third party which is sitting, which in front of which one party doesn't want to communicate, doesn't want to speak. Then you have a time issue. You are in a hurry. You have to go. Then there's a distance. Now, distance is when people come from far away places. Now, if we talk about Chandigarh in High Court Central, we cover 3 states. It's Chandigarh, Punjab, and Haryana. So Haryana touches Rajasthan also in one point. Even Punjab touches Pakistan border at one point. So that is, if somebody has come down from Firozpur, which is just next to Pakistan border, they require some time to go back home. And in mediation, if they start looking at watch, sir, we have to go to Firozpur. It is a 5.5 hour journey. It is already 6. That's a barrier in communication. They start looking at time. So these barriers, they make communication ineffective. Then we have a language barrier. Now here we are talking in English. If in the beginning of class, I would have started talking in Hindi or Punjabi, I think 70% of my friends would not have been able to understand my language. And that is a big barrier in communication. So my entire purpose of my holding a class with my friends becomes ineffective. Why? Because there's a language barrier. Now there is a gender barrier also. At times, girls don't want to speak up in front of a male mediator. So that's a barrier. They don't want to communicate. I told you earlier also in an example. So there is a degree of, fear. There's a degree of something in the running in their mind which they don't want to communicate. They don't want to communicate with the opposite party, opposite sex. So that's a gender barrier. Now we come down to cultural barrier. Now, cultural barrier, we celebrate, in South, they celebrate Pongal. They have a different culture. In North, we have a different culture. In East, it's a different culture. In West, it's a different culture. So if two parties come from two different backgrounds and their culture is different, yes, it adds to the barrier. There's a barrier in communication. So this is a brief gist of communication. How important is communication in mediation? And what is the role of a mediator in communication? Types of communication, it's a verbal communication, it's a non-verbal communication. Then we have talked about skills in communication. We have active listening. Then we have body language. Then we have questions. Then we have empathy. What are the effects? There are 7 C's of effective communications. So there must be a question in somebody's mind, what are ineffective communications? So when we talk about barriers, it becomes ineffective mediation, right? So friends, this is an end to communication. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being there with me for all this time. And now up to you. If you have any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer all those questions. And thank you all very much that you have been active and live throughout. And we will certainly flourish in life, move forward in life. And I'll show you, I want to show you some pictures. Let me, that's what I believe in. And I want you should also believe in this. See, so I believe in mediation. So I also want that you all should also believe in mediation. It's an upcoming area which will not only make you a good human being, you will certainly be a good listener. That's a golden art of listening. You'll try to, you have more compassion in your heart. You will be more friendly with people. People will love to share their problems with you because you have that art of listening. So your body language. So in the beginning, I said your social acceptability and social popularity, it all depends upon how you communicate. So you have to be humble. You have to be grounded. And that is all about communication. Throughout the life, we'll keep on communicating with each other, be it verbally, be it body language, in all spheres. Thank you so much. And I'm waiting for questions. Madam Dirga, somebody has put any question for me?
Sir, there were no gaps in the communication. So apparently, till now, we haven't received any questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, friends.
Any question, please write it in the chat box. Or please raise your hand so I can unmute you.
Hello.
Sir.
Hello.
Hanji, sir.
Sachin ji, no cup of tea cold.
Sir. Hanji, sir.
No cup of tea.
Sir, cup
in
of
a chilling cold.
No, sir, cup of tea will be a barrier in communication because people will start doing like this.
Okay, we will enjoy it from your hospitality.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir is a senior mediator here in Chandigarh, Sir P.S. Barad.
Okay.
Over to you, Nina. We don't have any questions at now.
Thank you so much, friends. So that means
But sir, I do have
made
one.
my,
If I may say.
Sachin, Ronak is speaking.
yeah, yes, Ronak, yes.
Sir, could you kindly enumerate the difference between framing and reframing?
Framing and reframing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Push madam seems to be, ma'am. Ma'am, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you are a teacher of mine. So let me put it across to you. Ronak wants to know difference between framing and reframing.
See, Ronak, before I answer that query of yours, I will just share one or two more sentences just to crystallize what Sachin has beautifully shared with you about communication. In this classroom, we are not looking forward to make you as mediators, you know. What we are trying is that you should come to know that there's this concept of mediation, which has now become mandatory subject in your academic sessions also. To give you the brief idea and sketch about what mediation is and what is going to be the role of advocates also in mediation. And because when you'll pass out after LLB, you'll be giving legal advice to your clients. So at that time, if you're giving them the door of mediation to go for mediation, how would they be conducting themselves in mediation? How would they be communicating about their case, about their issues, about their underlying interests? There are ways of doing that. So your role is not just as a mediator, but as an advocate also will see a lot of change. Okay. So the communication, without communication, even a mediator or even parties amongst themselves or even the advocates cannot come to a place wherein they can set a common agenda that yes, this needs resolution and we can work for options, some solutions which can be acceptable to both of us. So this is the beauty of mediation. And courtroom, you know, it is the judgment which comes from a judge. So the communication is very sender, receiver, who is sending, who is receiving, whether they have received completely as to what has been shared. And in that sharing, verbal and non-verbal plays important role because sometimes person is struggling in what he wants to share with someone. So he might communicate from facial expressions through body gestures. Maybe right now when I'm talking to you, I'm using my hands, everything. I'm trying to convey it like this. So there's multiple things. The subject is vast, but the lifeline of mediation, any mediation is communication. The moment party enters the mediation room, communication starts. Even if you're not exchanging hello or namaste also. There's communication. It speaks volume. And when the party signs an agreement, there is a communication. Yes, they are satisfied. There is a win-win situation. So when mediation goes unsuccessful also, we always feel that there is some success rate. Maybe parties who came in mediation with 100% problem, now they have a focus of 60% or 70%, which they may after a year or 6 months again may come back to mediation and say, yes, madam or sir, I want to sit back again to look for amicable. Now, as far as your framing and reframing is concerned, framing is how a sender, the person who is sharing an information, tries to frame his or her thought, her expression, her information to the receiver. This is what they are doing. But the mediator, being a neutral and impartial person, has to reframe that in such a way wherein it does not feel like as if he's becoming partial to someone or he's being sympathetic to someone, but yes, conveys to the sender, yes, what you're conveying to me, the information, the emotions under that, your feelings, I can understand, and then you reframe the things in such a way that it reaches out to this sender again, that this is what you have told me, this is what I've heard and listened to you. The sender will say, no, madam, I said something else also. So the process of communication will start. And maybe during the process of mediation, there may be many stances wherein the using a technique skill of open-ended question, information gathering. It's an elaborate subject, but the basic idea of this classroom structure in a 1 hour exercise with question and answer of half an hour is to make you well versed with this concept as far as the knowledge of mediation in this age is concerned.
We would love to see you after your LLB to be a seasoned mediators also. But idea behind BCI circular is that if you know about mediation, maybe you may not advise the parties that the dispute resolution can only be done by courtroom structure. You may advise them that there are alternate doors also. There are appropriate doors of resolution also, and one among them is mediation. So if you become the envoys of mediation by your conviction and knowledge on mediation, it will be good for our justice delivery system. So our whole idea is this. I think I am clear with this, and that is why we keep sending you on WhatsApp group to attend classes. With passage of time, till April, there are many segments which will be covered by, as Sachin has told, you will be complimented, you will be treated by our best of mediators in India for this classroom. So make best use of this. And if still you have any query, there is an email ID of Dirga on the web template for this classroom. You can send her across. She will get them answered through Sachin sir, and he will definitely pass it on this PPT to PPT he has shared on communication, because there were many other things which, since time was running, so he had to end it up quickly, but definitely.
I will certainly pass on the PPTs, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'll certainly pass on the PPT. And see, these days, what, there's another non-verbal emojis which we are using in a message. You don't say hi, you say namaste. There's a laughing face, eye drops coming out, laughing. So all these emojis are basically a non-verbal communication, but you are sending a message across that you are happy with it. You are saying thank, you say thumbs up. So we have a different videos of communication these days. We have WhatsApp there, we have Facebook there, we have Instagram there. So these are all modes of communication. When you write something,
and in online communication, you have to be more vigilant also. It says the 55% is your body language, which includes facial expression and other body gestures. 38 is how you're speaking, whether your pitch volume of your voice is up and down or it's hidden, there is secret agenda. Then 7 is verbal. But every part of the communication is important, because after this class, when you'll disperse, you might look for non-verbal clues between your communication with your parents, with your siblings, and you'll try to construe as to what his non-verbal communication is saying. So you may get addicted to the power of non-verbal communication after this class also. Yeah.
And Thangajan sir, I don't hate Thangajan. Thangajan sir is my dear brother. I love him.
Tell me.
It was just an example. Anybody wants to go to Kerala? This is the best man to catch. He can take to those places where nobody can even think of going in Kerala and seeing those places.
No, now that we have students from 21 states, so we may come up with BMW tours and travels. We can travel all over India. We have our families, so they're becoming part of this family. Every day we are increasing.
Yes, all are welcome to Kerala.
We have Uma ma'am with us. Uma ma'am? Uma ma'am is there with us?
Yes,
Uma ma'am, sorry you're there with us. We are always greedy. If you can just also share your views on the topic. We will not leave you, ma'am. We are always greedy.
No, I think a lot has been said today, and the poor students have been there for all this time. So,
yes,
yeah, they have. Yeah, it's as you were saying, both of you were saying, rightly said, that communication is the integral part of mediation. Because how do we understand our perception of whether it is a problem, or even if you want to ask your parents or something, or you want to talk to your friends, what is it? Your thoughts are already there, but then how do you communicate it, or how do you express your thoughts? That, as she was saying, it's both the body language and the words that are used, even the tone. Like when your mother says, you're reading something or you're doing something on your laptop, and your mother keeps on saying, better come to eat or something, and you say, ma, just keep quiet. But the same thing you can't tell your friend or your professor, right? So we take an advantage with certain people, we don't take an advantage with others. It's also depending on the relationships. So communication depends on so many factors. And it's not, and as Push was saying, it's very difficult to train you in all the communication skills within this time, but the basic concepts have been told to you. But what I think what basically you have to understand is that you have to keep your eyes and ears open. We hardly listen to anybody because we have preconceived notions. So when he was talking about summarizing and reframing, it is to get the emotion, as he said initially, what is not said. When a person says, I put up with this man for 10 years, now enough is enough, I want to get out of the marriage. Does it mean she wanted divorce? She's saying, I just want him to be a little more kind. I was hoping that he would become better, but he hasn't changed his ways. So there are so many, in the tone of the voice that is said, there's so many things that you will learn. And as Pushpa was saying, it's a life skill. It helps you to deal with your clients. It helps you to become a better lawyer, because in court, you have to watch out for how the judge is listening to you. The judge may be sleeping, the judge may be listening attentively, or the judge may be ignoring you, but you have to draw his attention by the way you stand there and the way you talk. So that will help you there also. So there are so many things, and I think you have got a basic idea today. You will start exploring, I'm sure, because you guys are all so well versed in reading up. So all the very best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Neena ji, over to you.
Yeah. So as both of you have explained everything, and we are blessed with Uma ma'am's words also. So what should I say? I think it's time to leave. And I want to just say one thing. In communication, you have to take care of silence also, because silence speaks so loud. So all the young chaps, all the best to you. And thank you everyone for their patient hearing, listening. Thank you everyone.
So next Saturday we'll meet for negotiation, how to bargain and negotiate even in your daily life. You must be doing that. So let's learn more on mediation and various aspects of mediation. So thank you, dear friends, for staying with us for so long. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Sachin, it's really wonderful. Wonderful effort. Thank you.
And Makhija sir also joined with us.
Makhija sir is here?
Yes,
Makhija sir?
Just now I noticed him.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Push. Good evening, Sachin. Good evening, Thankson sir. And Das sir and Anup sir and Uma ma'am. Hello to all. Really, I would like to add one.
Please share,
Sachin, I want to say two good.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, Sandhya ma'am is also there. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
One thing I would say, I would like to congratulate Push that she is, building army of mediators. And we are now, we can see that in the coming days, we will have a mediators across the countries, and we would having a peace in the society. Definitely. And thank you, ma'am, Push. You are really doing a wonderful job.
You are our senior most trainer from MCPC friends.
No,
so you are again treated with
I would like to add to what Makhija sir is saying. Pushp is doing everything too selflessly.
Yes, I
taking everyone along.
No, it is family. It is family. If you have a good cause.
Pushp, I'm sorry, I'm a blunt person, straightforward. I'm not seeing anyone around me who's done that.
Thank you so much, but it's your family. If you have a good cause, you will have people with you. Nobody would leave you then. So as Makhija sir has said, we'll have more peace builders across the globe through this classroom series, and maybe at their own homes with their own parents and their siblings.
Yeah. So I'll add to what Makhija sir is saying, that we need selfless peacemakers like you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And I am happy to be associated with Push.
And Makhija sir, I'm proud to be her friend.
We all are, definitely.
Push is incomplete in this journey without family, and more specifically, Mr. Thankson sir. He is my biggest strength in support.
Yes, great. Thanks, Chan sir.
Very noble person.
Sir, it's always Thankson sir, simply great.
let me say a few words for Thangshan sir also.
Yes.
Thangshan sir के साथ मैं काफी मिला हूँ, लेकिन कम मिला भले ही, लेकिन उन्होंने कभी भी ये दामन नहीं छोड़ा. हम दोनों एक दूसरे से नमस्ते करते हैं और really he is doing a wonderful job. I have observing him for the last rather जब CMW शुरू हुआ है तब से तो उनका activity जो है ना really appreciable sir. And I would also like to congratulate you also. Really a wonderful job, sir. And Anup sir is there, Sachin sir is there. I can recognize so many cases. Uma ma'am को तो मैं feet ही touch करना चाहूंगा, उनसे काफी कुछ सीखा है. Dash sir is there and so many. Sandhya ma'am is there. Thank you very much. मैं तो आज अच्छा रहा, मैंने join किया और बहुत कुछ सीखा. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Pushpa, I just want to say, I'm sure next week you will have full attendance because they have to learn about negotiation. They have to learn about how to get new laptops and cell phones from their parents.
Yes.
And that's what bargaining is about. So everyone will be present.
Ma'am, we have Bharta sir for this class on next Saturday. So it's again going to be another treat. Mr. Bharta Chakravarti sir is there.
And Uma ma'am, I've been wanting to say, even I would want to be a part, though I've learned negotiation number of times, but I want more hugs from you as I got in Chennai.
Okay.
So I'll be negotiating for them.
We will definitely find the opportunities. Don't worry.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sachin. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Then,
Thank
with your permission,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ji.
Bye. Thank you, Rajesh sir.
then with your permission, let me sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.